We're recording.
All set?
So, want to introduce the meeting?
Okay, we're recording. Good. All right, we'll call to order the meeting of the Historical Commission, July 27th, 2020. First order of business. Let's see. Public speak. We don't have any public here besides us. So I guess we're good to go. Approval of the July 8th minutes. I didn't get a chance to write up the minutes, so we're going to have to keep those down to the next meeting. We're meeting in 2 weeks anyways. You right?
Was this meeting scheduled? I forgot why we scheduled this meeting early.
Basically, this meeting was scheduled to talk.
You might have to turn your volume down, or we're getting the feedback.
Let's see.
A lot of feedback.
We're getting some feedback here, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Try now.
I can hear you feedbacking too. All right. Is this clear right now? We're doing okay? Yeah, I'm not hearing any feedback.
Sounds okay to me.
All right. We called the meeting early because we needed to talk about the survey and planning grant information.
Okay.
So that's why I only gave you those two items.
Yeah.
For the meeting. So, anyways. So we'll kick the minutes down the road to the next meeting. Table that. Correspondence. I guess now we can talk about the Wilson.
All right, so we got the demolition delay. Notice of the demolition request for 2 Payson Lane from the building department. And that was just forwarded to the commission. So if we start a conversation right now about the initial determination as to the historic significance of the building.
Okay. Yeah, what's the timeline that we have to have that to them by?
14 days.
Okay. From
when the building department received the permit. So I think it looks like, so the building department forwarded it to me on essentially on July 22nd, so 5 days ago.
okay, this is 5 days ago.
So let's just see what the date on the application is.
So we got 9 days. So next Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday.
I would move to delay it. Since we have we have
The interwebs are not being kind to us tonight.
Right, so this is, like I said, it's just for the initial determination as to historic significance of the building. The initial determination this is reading from the ordinance, it shall be positive if the structure is historically inventoried or to be inventoried by the historical commission. Otherwise, the determination is negative. So, Mike, you had said that when we looked it up, it was not on the NACRS database, it was not listed.
Repeat that, please. Repeat that, please.
That it was not inventoried as part of the city's inventory. It's not listed on NACRS.
It's not on NACRS. Which is like the only one in that area that's not, which is kind of odd in some ways, but I mean, the other thing is we could. This is getting difficult.
The only other thing I could think to suggest is, Jamie, if you maybe call in on a phone.
Is it Jamie or I mean, kind of like every.
No, I'm having trouble just with Jamie myself.
I'm getting feedback.
That's because now he's on speaker and microphone on the laptop. So the microphone hears the speaker, the microphone. I'm hearing myself repeat 3 or 4 times. If I just keep going, I could just listen to myself ad nauseum, which is exactly how I feel when I listen to myself.
This would be good. You do that again.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I start talking. All of a sudden, it gets loud and just, stepping on myself, I guess. I don't know.
See, now I'm hearing you fine.
Yeah,
I
you
do
fine
think it's
now.
just,
There's no-
and I haven't had a problem with Nora or Tracy, so not to pick on Jamie. It seems like it's on Jamie's side that the problem's coming from.
Yeah. How's Tracy?
I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah. So we just trying to put some more programs and try to use this. But I'm going to stay off video for the rest of the meeting, just to use less bandwidth and see if that makes a difference. Does that make a difference to everyone? Can you hear me okay? At all?
Not really.
It's a lot of distortion and feedback.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just breaking up. Like every quarter second, you drop out for a quarter second.
What if Jamie participates but is on mute and then unmutes whenever you want to say something? Would that make a difference? And then you could have your video on too?
Well, at least then we wouldn't get the feedback.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll help with the breakup.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep muting myself and unmuting myself as I talk. So
That's a
hopefully
lot better right there, actually. Whatever you just did is a lot better.
As long as nobody else talks while she's talking.
Okay, that's the rule. Nobody talks when Jamie talks.
Got it.
Okay. So, Jamie, you can chime in on chat if you want. I'm just going to say the 2 Payson Lane is not inventoried, and the initial determination is due in 9 days. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I guess basically, we need to figure out whether or not we want to inventory it as part of this, or this grant, or the problem I see only is that if they want to tear it down, and I don't know what the condition of the building is. The only thing I got was that he had a building that they were thinking of, they wanted to renovate, but then saw that it was too far gone to save, and which I don't know if that's would be too expensive to renovate. So they would tear it down.
I have a couple clarifying questions, if I may.
Sure.
So this is Williston asking?
Yes.
And does Williston own it currently?
I believe they do.
Okay. Thank you.
I still would hate to see it torn down without us knowing anything about what's going on with the building itself.
Yeah, you'd think we'd want to check. Yeah.
Well, we could ask them to do the inventory like we had Manny do on 5 East Street as part of the whole process. Looking at what we're down the road, what we're talking about with the survey and planning grant, I had that kind of earmarked to take a look at it anyways. So we are at this point saying, yes, we're probably going to inventory that property. So I guess, technically that would kick it into where we need to have a public hearing on it.
Yeah, and it's true, right? Because we actually were surprised that it wasn't in the previous inventory. So I would have imagined it would have been the first to go on the next inventory.
I have it right here marked in yellow that it's not inventory. So yeah, it was already it was kind of, like I said, every other building in that block has been inventoried, and that was the only one that wasn't. Not really sure why. It's certainly old enough. So we will send them a determination that it is significant at this point, and we'll need to schedule a public hearing. How's that sound? Good?
That works.
Yes, Jamie, you gonna say something?
That works. So the initial determination is positive because the commission had planned to.
Jamie, you're going to have to use the chat. Can't make it out. I can't tell what you're saying.
We don't have chat on this.
Oh,
It's
sorry, I
disabled.
forgot. And then you were muted.
So,
There isn't, huh?
I don't know. It's
Can you
really
hold
frustrating.
cards?
I'm really sorry.
Maybe everybody else try to mute and let Jamie talk. Maybe that'll make a difference.
All right. So I was just saying, I'll pass along the initial determination that it's positive because the commission had been planning to inventory that building. And we have to set a date for the public hearing. There is notice requirements. So we're going to need to set a date at least 3 weeks out from, in order to give time for the legal apps and notice to happen. And now everyone else is
Mike, you're
muted.
muted. Yeah.
It's so easy to just talk before you unmute. I was going to say that, you know, if we can buy yourself a little time by not notifying them right away, if you need to. I don't know what the calendar looks like, and you know, we're going to be busy with this other thing. So let's. I'm not going to say kick it down the road. I mean, we'll act on it, but we'll have to take a look at the dates and see when we can make the arrangements for that.
Just so people know too, that I'm playing by the rules. I just have a separate mute. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, where's my agenda?
Just didn't want you to think I was being a rebel.
Correspondence.
Can I just interrupt? We did not set a date for this hearing.
We didn't set a date for what?
There's no date set. We do need to pick a date to tell the applicant and the building department. So I don't think we can just like move along until maybe we can do it at the next scheduled meeting or September. The next scheduled meeting is.
Let's see.
No, we can't do it at the next scheduled meeting. It's be August 12th. And that doesn't give enough time for the legal notice. So do we want to try the September meeting, September 9th?
Today's the 27th. Next meeting would be the 12th. Is that right? Does that give you enough time? No.
No.
So, I mean, we have to notify them by the 5th, right? Is that right? Or the 4th?
Can you hear me?
Now you're muted.
No, I can't read lips.
The date that was on the application was listed as July 13th. I don't know when the building department received it, but they did not send it to us until July 22nd. So technically, we need to respond. I think we have somewhere between a few days and having to make a decision tonight.
So we figure by like before the end of the week. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know when it was received by the building department, but going off the ordinance, we have to, within 14 days of the filing of the permit, the historic commission has to make that initial determination. So, like I said, the building permit was dated July 13th, but I don't know when the building department actually received it.
I think I got that. So you don't know when exactly they received it? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Correct.
But we got it on the 22nd.
Correct.
Okay, this is working. Starting to understand. Okay, so we can respond this week, and I mean, what do we have to? What's our timeline to make it? Set up a demo, a public hearing.
The ordinance says within a reasonable amount of time.
Reasonable.
So I think we can go for the September 9th meeting would be the next regularly scheduled meeting. That would give enough time for the notice to be generated.
That would give you enough time, or no? It wouldn't. What, for the 12th?
That would put me in.
Okay. All right. We could do that. Do you want me to get back to Jeff or whoever?
Because all the stuff came to me from the building department, I'll just reply and have them contact the applicant. I'll make it work.
We'll talk to you later about that. I got about a quarter of that. Maybe,
my understanding was that there was a little bit of time to determine when that would be, but I think what Jamie was recommending was we just make it the September meeting.
oh, the September meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, because I'm thinking August and getting a. So okay.
I think communication breakdown.
Yeah, no doubt. It's difficult. Tracy, you want to say something? You lit up there for a second.
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. I'm just making sure. I don't want to leave you out here.
No, I'm just listening.
You light up a little bit when you say something. So.
Okay.
Right. So the second. So we will give them a little. I don't know what we have for a timeline, but we'll make the determination that it's at this point it's significant. It may change, but by the time we get to the public hearing, but on the virtue of that, we were going to inventory the building, and then we can figure out what exactly we need to do there. Jamie can set the timeline for that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and you know, if September is fine with me. I don't think there's any rush on this at this point. I know they like to get ahead of the game anyways because they move pretty quick with a lot of their stuff. All right, the next bit of correspondence, and I'll have to pull this. I just got this email before I left work, and see if I can find it. Here we go. Come on. Not having any satisfaction signing into my email account.
Sounds like a Mercury in retrograde day.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's just but we can go for a break right now. I was hoping this meeting would go well, but I could see that's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as, okay, here we go. Not sure. Okay, Jamie, you got get the email from Peter Stott?
Yeah. Yep, I got it. I'm going to try to bring it up.
Yeah, if you want. I was just gonna say that we got to get that RFQ by August 3rd. Is that going to happen? Are you handling I got an email. I could forward it to everybody, take a look at it. I don't really want to read it at all because audio is bad enough.
I'm just going to share my screen.
Okay. Oh yeah, we can do that. I forgot. Well, maybe. There we go.
All right, so I don't know if everyone can see that or not.
I can see it.
Okay.
I think that can be, if that bar's on the way, you can move it.
Everyone have a chance to read it?
Yep.
Tracy, basically the brief of it is that, as Mike said, we have the initial proposed target date was August 3rd for releasing the RFP, and we are still, we haven't touched it yet. So we need to, as the commission, needs to start moving forward on it.
Yeah. Complete draft. How detailed is that going to be? You know, how long is it actually?
I have no idea, Mike. Never put a RFP like this together.
Okay. Now the second part of that, the solicitation list, is that something you're going to handle, right?
So we'd have to figure out who are appropriate historic resource, like who can do this work.
Okay. Okay.
So that's who we're gonna, probably be primarily reaching out to.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So I guess that's it for correspondence. You don't have anything else, do you, Jamie?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, good. Don't really want to get too much into the other stuff because I think we need to talk about the survey and planning grant mostly, but the demo delay bylaw, let's just kick that around for a little bit. Some of the things I was thinking about as far as updating it would be, the first thing would be to increase the time length, either to 12 or 18 months, be the first thing. Second thing would be an application form. So when somebody goes to the building inspector, you would give them the application form, and that way, maybe the notifications will be a little more timely. I think, not sure what date Jamie said, but I think it was like the 13th or something like that, and we didn't get it till the 22nd, which is kind of a long time span. I know these times are a little unusual, so that doesn't help either. However, so, you know, basically have a process. So in this, say in the case of two patients, you want to, you know, tear the building down. This is what you're going to need to bring to us. Say like number one, if there wasn't an inventory done, have an inventory. The other items, and I want to flesh it out a little more later, but signage, like that other places have. So if you're going to tear the building down, you put up a sign with, you know, that notification and all that prior to the public hearing, so people can see it and actually show up to the public hearings. And I don't know if there's too much else, but we really need to kind of flesh it out. Those are just some of the thoughts that I have at this point. And obviously you would have to, the extension either to 12 or 18 months would have to go to city council. I'm not sure if the other parts of that would or not. We'd have to probably put the stuff together and then run it by the solicitor and see if, you know, it's all kosher. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I certainly think that the signage, for one thing, would help a lot with people not feeling surprised to find out, because it's being torn down, that it was up for demolition. I really think that's a good idea. I also support the extension because I feel like we really need to have something a little more potent to deal with these, not the uncontested ones, but the contested ones.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with that. Also, the part of that, I think we should maybe have some searching for the right word, procedures that they need to go through once the demo delay has been put into effect. Whether it's reaching out to find a buyer or something like that, something to show that they're making an honest effort to actually do what they're supposed to be doing the right thing, and in that case.
Do we think we maybe need a report or something? Should we? I know, like on the CPA, we can request them to write out sort of a report of what they did. I'm thinking that we ask them to show a good faith effort to find an alternative, but I don't know that we have any way of knowing what they do, right?
Well, we could have, and I don't know what other towns do in terms of this, but a checklist that would have, maybe some certain things that
right.
But that there would also be a room for other categories that we might, other ways that someone might address their handling of that particular property.
Yeah, I mean, it's, at this point in time, it's pretty easy to say, like, okay, we're going to put a demo delay on, and they just sit back and go, okay, we'll just wait, 6 months. And, even if they make a little bit of an effort, we did what we could do, and nobody wants to take over the place or anything like that, or I can't sell it at the price that they're willing to pay me because, I'll lose my shirt. And there's really not much you can do to them at that point. So,
right.
Extending it would help, number one, is to give it a little more time to sweat it out. And they may decide that, they'll accept a reasonable offer.
And maybe, I'm sorry.
Somebody was going to say something.
Yeah, sorry. Like some general minimal specifics, like you're putting, two public notices in at least 2 publications for at least X amount of time. So it's not just, I put in an ad for one day in a paper in Cincinnati, but I didn't actually do it here in the Valley,
Right.
So like some kind of specific information on minimums.
Yeah.
I'd say the way the current ordinance is written, it gives to my eyes, it gives wide latitude to the historical commission to make a determination that that the owner did put forth a reasonable effort. And so if we start to enumerate what the minimums are, then we take away that wide latitude. So maybe maybe expanding on how much latitude the commission has, or requiring monthly reporting to the commission might be helpful.
Right, yeah.
I actually like the idea of monthly or some kind of time, because then it gives us the opportunity to react. Because I realize if we just ask for a report and it comes at the end of the delay, then it's really kind of all water under the bridge.
Right.
Too late to do anything. So that's a good idea.
I agree. Good idea.
I mean, maybe when we institute the delay that, you know, they need to come back the following month with, okay, this is, you know, how I plan to deal with this. You know, and you're not really instituting any minimums except for them giving us a idea of how they're going to deal with it. You know,
I like that too.
I don't know, you know, unfortunately the legalities of it is, you know, it's a different story too, you know. I know how Jamie feels about it, but, you know, I had sent that off to the city solicitor, and, you know, he said, well, I mean, it's 6 months. You really can't do anything else. Even though it says in there that, you know, and I'm not exactly sure why he feels that way, but it's, you know, that was the opinion that we got back, so.
And we know because I think we all get the newsletter there from Mass Historic and all. It's a common problem that people want to tear down something that the town doesn't want torn down.
Right.
And I know it seems like every other day you see one of those, can anybody save this building? Can somebody do something so we don't lose it? It seems like a significant problem.
You know, obviously the biggest thing is to be proactive and actually make it widely known that certain buildings in town are like, no, you know, you're not gonna, and then the developer won't go in there and buy it just, you know, to make a parking lot or whatever. It's, you know, because he's going to be well aware that it may, you know, it's going to be hard to tear it down.
Yeah, that brings up an interesting point too. So under what circumstances currently do we have a standing protection so that a contractor would know before they got interested in the building that we already had, you know, a historic designation on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really anything as far as.
If we had a historic preservation restriction on a building, that would be the only way that we could say private property is permanently protected.
Yeah.
And typically those preservation restrictions get placed on a property because the city spent money to purchase those rights. So, you know, there are very few buildings in the city that have a historic preservation restriction. And
I just want to understand, you're saying they have to buy the rights? Is that what you said?
Right. So you could use like CPA funds to purchase a preservation restriction on private property. There would be an agreement between the city and the owner, and the resulting document would be this preservation, the historic preservation restriction. Or alternatively, a property owner, out of the goodness of their own heart, could decide that they want to put a preservation restriction on their property, but that would be then taking away resale value from their property.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm sorry for asking all the questions, but I just want to understand if they do that, then does that mean they have to do the, you know, accurate windows, paint? Are we talking about historic preservation at that point where you can't put in modern windows and all that?
It would depend on what the restriction says and who the co-signers are. So if Mass Historic is involved in the writing of the historic preservation restriction, it's going to meet the Department of the Interior's guidelines. Similarly, if CPA funds were used to purchase the restriction, it would have to meet those Secretary of the Interior guidelines for historic preservation. But if it's just someone who wants to put a preservation restriction on their property and they're not getting money for it from the CPA or from Mass Historic, then, you know, there's no limits on what that restriction could or could not allow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure the mechanism where, you know, to make it kind of well known that, well, that piece of property is going to be hard for you to turn into a parking lot because there's some significance to it besides having it inventoried, and that's it, you know. Maybe somewhere down the road when you look around town and we have things inventoried and see something that's starting to either, you know, go downhill or somebody's interested in buying something, and you know that kind of what their intentions are is just to kind of go public with it, like, you know, with a newspaper article or something about the piece of property. And then maybe the guy that's looking at it might go, oh, no, we're not going to touch that, you know. And so I think it's just the proactive part of, you know, doing the surveys and the planning and all that. That's kind of what I'm getting at, not specifically having, you know, preservation restrictions on buildings or anything like that. Just more education and making people aware that, you know, what we have here. Which I think, you know, the grant will probably go a long way to do, you know. I mean, it's not an easy thing to really put out there either, though, you know. I mean, you can't really predict the future. Not yet, anyways. We're working on it. Anyways, I don't really want to beat this to death yet until I have some actually some firm proposals that we can, you know, write up and actually send out there to, you know, the city council or you know, run by the solicitor, make sure that we're, you know, we're on the up and up and, you know, legal and all that too. So, and I think the most important topic right now is survey and planning grant. So let's move on to that. Tracy and I went out for a walk a couple of weeks ago, right, Trace? Yep. Which was kind of, in my mind, it's enlightening only in the fact that you're out there and you actually see what, you know, what is out there, not looking at a map or, you know, a macros or whatever. After I did that, or we did that, I had some time and kind of compared what was out there with what was inventoried and the list that Jamie had made up back probably a couple of years ago now, when we first started talking about doing inventories, which is the structures built prior to 1971. I found some, and I don't know, Jamie, maybe you can address this, but I'm looking at like Union Street, and there's a bunch of properties that are inventory, but they didn't appear in this list that they were built prior to 1971. You know anything about that? Why that would be?
I believe that list was a combination of the Macris database and the assessors databases. So a lot of buildings have a blank field for when they were built, and so then they wouldn't show up as prior to 1971.
Okay. So, yeah, okay. So they wouldn't be in here. So the Union Street buildings don't have a date when they were built. Is that what you're saying?
I'd have to look specifically, you know, and what data I was using 2 or 3 years ago when I created that list.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because, you know, I'm looking at it going like, wait a minute. There's, you know, I'm looking at Macris going, there's a bunch of buildings on Union Street that are inventoried, but they're not on the on this list at all. The couple things that I did find as we walked down Main Street to, how far did we go, Tracy? We went down to like Knight or Wright, somewhere around there.
Glendale?
Glendale? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were a little past that, I think.
Okay.
because Glendale's right across from the cemetery. And we walked a little farther down. Let's stay closer to home right now. Center Street, there is 10 eligible properties according to the assessor's list, and only 3 of them have been inventoried. Clark Avenue, 2 of 4 are inventoried. Another place where we actually hadn't looked at all was High Street. 13 eligible properties, 4 that were inventoried. And then we get farther down Main, we get to Knight, and to right. Knight, there was 21 houses on Knight that are over 50 years old and 0 inventories. I guess the thing we really need to do is define exactly how we want to expand this out. I know Jamie did quite a bit of work on it already, and I really didn't. Well, here's the target list. So Main Street, not as Tracy and I were walking down, Jamie, we kind of were looking at it going like, why don't we go all the way to like South Street with that, with, you know, State Highway begins. Is that reasonable? Jamie?
I'm sorry. So you're saying the doing all of Main Street all the way down to Glendale?
Well, we
almost going to when it turns into the highway.
Yeah, we didn't go as far as south. We went down to, look at a map, Greenwood Court. A bit farther than that. Yeah, it's not on this map anyways. And we went past Greenwood a little bit. Some old houses there that I don't believe are inventory at all. Let me see if I get some stats on this. I made notes and now I forget exactly what the different colors mean. I think the green were inventoried. So most of Maine has been inventoried. There's a few of them here. There's 1930, 104 Maine, 306, I'm sorry, 304, 306, which are from the 30s. Closer to downtown, 241, 260, 265, 278. Those are all, I mean, 278's 1905. Mostly 1920s and 30s. And of course, the closer you get to downtown, the older they are. But yeah, you could, I mean, you can almost go out to the town line. And I believe all of them are on the list. I'll have to, hello? Where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
Okay. I look up and everybody's gone. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Main Street has been done. The thing that I'm kind of looking at more, you know, even is Wright and Knight. Right there was, I think 10 eligible, or 11 eligible, and 1 is inventoried. So there's 10 potentials there. We need 100 resources, Jamie?
Right. And so I think that, you know, the 100 resources that we're looking at, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. And just getting that list of age is important, but I think that the field verification is like, when you look at that building, has there been so many modifications to it that like,
Right.
there's really nothing left to, like, has it been changed so much that we shouldn't even bother to inventory it?
Right. I don't totally disagree with that. Like I said, I mean, you know, it does kind of, when you look at a street like Knight or Wright, where nothing at all's been done, and I mean, some of the houses are still pretty much in original condition. Probably not a lot of outstanding stuff there, but there might be one or two. I didn't look at High. We didn't walk down High, but that's like right on the other side of the downtown district, and a lot of those are fairly old. So, I mean, you know, I mean, 1890s and whatnot. So,
Yeah, there are,
definitely potential there, you know.
yeah, on High Street for sure. That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's your neighborhood, right?
Yeah, they're so nice.
Well, it's your job, then. You go check them all out.
Yes, sir.
Knock on doors.
Let me see your banisters.
Yeah, right. You know, I'm coming over for Sunday dinner, so. All right. So, project scope of work. Boy, I tell you, this is going to be it's going to be interesting, Jamie. Brewster.
So what's the guidance? What's the guidance on the 100 properties? Are we just going with things that are inventoried? Are we re-inventorying
Well,
that were like that were maybe?
I was looking at it this way. I mean, a lot of them are inventoried, but a lot of the inventories aren't very complete. So I think you need to basically go through every inventory in that district as it stands right now and expand out a little bit and see if we can get more information on some of these properties. The one that it's not typically included in this, but we talked about it before, the old Clap House on Northampton Street, which was part of the canal warehouse and tavern or whatever. There's an inventory on the building. However, it doesn't say anything about being, you know, about the canal or the, you know, the use of the building prior to, you know, when they did the inventory. It's just said this building was built in such and such a date, and that's it. So, you know, if we have something like that that's in the district or just outside of it, then obviously that should be, you know, if possible, it should be brought up to date and have more information. It's my feeling on it.
Yeah, I just don't know if we're limited to the area, and I assume that we are, is that the proposed target area is what we got funded for. So.
Right, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Although I think we included enough area here, I think we can, should be able to find enough resources here anyways. I mean, to be determined, could possibly include Clark Avenue, Chapman Avenue, High Street, Union Court, Payson Lane, McKinley Avenue, Knight Avenue, and Wright Street. So we did kind of put them in there. And like I said, you know, to extend down to at least south on Main was probably not a bad idea. Just to see what else is out there. However, we need to do the work. So, and we need to get this cranked up and going by the end of the week, kind of. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So you have here project scope of work. Can you elaborate on that off the top of your head, or?
The project scope of work is it's attached to the RFQ that and basically explains what we are doing, what we're looking for the consultants to provide.
Is that basically the chart that I was just looking at? project goals, project description.
No, it's like, so it's attachment A when they sent us all that, the grant information. It includes objectives, methodology, and then like what has to be deliverables, when we want what tasks and what products from our consultants through the entire project.
Right, yeah. And I remember the scope of work from when we put this together in the first place, right?
So is scope of work where we would indicate, for example, that in the Clap Street example, we want more than just the date and that there's a house there? Is that the objective of that?
Well, because we're doing this funded by Mass Historic, and the intent is to add the 100 items to the inventory, they're going to have to meet Mass Historic's standards.
Mm-hmm.
So current Mass Historic standards are, you know, there needs to be a significant amount of information research for each item, and not just, this is an old building from 1880.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I guess we really need.
But I think you're right, John. I do think we need to spell it out in the scope of work so that the consultants know what it is that we're looking for.
Thank you.
And we did get a draft scope of work from Mass Historic. So at this point, it's really just coming through with the target list and what we want inventoried, and kind of putting that document together. And I can put the document together. The thing that I don't know is the items, which resources we want to include. And so
maybe.
So we need. Go ahead, John.
Quick clarifying question is: Can we add? So, like in the Clap Street example, let's say we have the inventory done and we have something that isn't in the 100. Can we add that ourselves, or does it have to be? Can't be done by us? Can we do an outlier on our own, is what I'm asking?
What?
Well, so we put in, as part of the grant application, we put in a target area of the area that we want to be inventoried and focusing on. And the Clap Street house is outside of that inventory area.
You know, let me clarify. I'm not asking if they can do it. I'm asking if it wasn't within what they did, can we do it?
Sure, we can do that, but we then have to get additional, like if we're going to do it ourselves or we're hiring a consultant to do it, we'll need, if we're hiring a consultant and we want to tack it onto this project, then.
Okay, I was just wondering, because if you know, if there's just like one or two somethings that are outside the area designated, I was just trying to clarify whether that means they just don't get inventoried, or if we can just attach them manually, so to speak, after the funded work is done. But it sounds like that's not that simple.
Well, we're going out to, you know, we're going to be putting together a document that consultants are going to bid on, and it has that list of the list of items that they are bidding on. So attaching, like just adding another property later would be outside of what they bid on, and then we'd have to pay for it extra.
No. I'm not being clear, apparently. I do not mean they would add any of this to the inventory. What I'm asking is, they're done. Their inventory's done, gone. Can we add? We can add, right? We can include information that we did the research on and we add to the inventory, right?
I don't know how that works. Because the inventory forms are going to be completed by the consultant and submitted by the consultant. So
maybe we can't then. All right. It was a distracting question. I just wondered if, you know, if there was a way that we had something that we're like, oh, we didn't include that, if it was easy enough to just add it after the fact. Sounds like it's not that easy.
It might be. I just don't know enough. And it's also possible that when we submit our scope to the state with the map and we say, you know, this item is just outside of the area that we targeted, we'd like to include it, they might say, yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm not saying, but we should really focus on the area that we said we're going to focus on.
Yeah, sorry, it was a distracting thing.
No, that's not a problem. I think that's a good question for Shannon, though, from Pioneer Valley Planning. You know, like, Shannon, we're looking at this, and you know, I mean, how would we go about doing that, and you know, to actually have it submitted as a regular inventory? Because, I mean, if she did it, or somebody else did it, or we did it, I mean, obviously, there's I don't know what level of expertise that the state requires for that sheet to be filled out. A lot of them aren't very complicated or, you know, very in-depth. So.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I was thinking I've done more research on my house than probably anybody, and I'd be happy to add that information in an official way if there's a venue to do that. I don't know if there is.
Well, yeah, like I said, I think that's a good question for her somewhere down the road. So actually, Jamie, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what we need right now is basically some criteria to say these are the houses that we want to look at and why. They have to fit a certain level of originality, I guess. You know, unaltered for the most part, or not a lot of either additions or like aluminum siding or vinyl siding and all that, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Right. I mean, we're looking for, I think what we're looking for is that list of resources that has, you know, that for whatever reason, the Historical Commission has identified as being important to the inventory. So it could be because it is an intact house with no additions and still has the slate roof, or it could be that this was a building that was, you know, we had an underground railroad stop here, and it's been changed significantly, but we want to call out that this is an important historical place, even though there's been change.
Right. Yeah. If there was a historical incident or important person that lived there at one time, even though it's been altered, I guess that's what we're looking for on the list.
So how do we compile what our list? Are we going to have some kind of shared document that we can?
Well, I mean, this is
a shared spreadsheet that we can just, everyone can contribute to.
Yeah.
That's like, and the criteria of like its significance.
Yeah.
Because I know you say we need to get it in by Friday. So.
Well, put it together at least by the weekend. So you got till Monday, I believe, the 3rd. Yeah, maybe that's the best thing to do at this point is like to pull up what the potential targets are, and then do a little bit more legwork on them. See if that I'm not exactly sure how we want to start.
Nora, I think that's a good idea. How about I put together, I'll put together a shared spreadsheet that we can all access. And I will preliminarily, I will add the property addresses within that spreadsheet, and maybe we can just like somehow we'll have like a column for like to vote it up or down, maybe, or something. That I don't quite know the best way to.
Well, I mean, if you had a shared spreadsheet, then we could later, do it, whether it's numerically or alphabetically, figure that stuff out after, once we get the information in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We can mess with the afterwards.
Like I said, I mean, like Jamie can put together some things. I can, maybe throw some stuff together from what I was looking at, and see if there's anything that's, anything that sticks to the wall, basically. at this point, maybe that's the, you know, continue this discussion. I don't know. We don't have to close the meeting, do we, Jamie? We'll pick it up again, maybe later in the week for a little while. We don't, you know, I mean, we don't need to spend a couple hours, probably just a short discussion, and be kind of hard to post.
And
What's the, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So even if we had like a shared document that had, or a spreadsheet that had the columns for like year, street, number, and significance, but also that we would know like these are the streets and these are the perimeters, and then
Yeah,
if we all contribute into that.
Yeah. Actually, all of you should probably have a copy of this here, the full application. I don't know if I have it. PDF, I could get that to you. You can take a look at it.
Maybe I'll make a shared folder and we can all have access to that.
That's perfect.
I'll put together,
Sounds good.
I'll put in the application, I'll put in some maps that show what that area is, and then a link to that spreadsheet.
That would be great. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
I mean, at this point, I think, you know, I don't know how much more we can actually get done. It's just talking about it. It's really not going to go anywhere, and just kind of spinning our wheels until we get that other information. So, anyways, oh yeah, we needed to talk about the first three request for quotes, the selection criteria, and the selection committee. Remember, I think we spoke about that last meeting. People that were willing to help out with that selection committee. Anybody remember?
I gotta admit, I don't either.
Okay, maybe we didn't. You know, maybe I was dreaming. Yeah, we were talking.
We did talk about it, but no one really came out and was up for it.
Okay, yeah.
You did speak about it, though.
Thank you. I am
Sorry.
not going crazy.
That's my
No.
bad.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so that's kind of the other things we need to talk about. I think we were leaving the selection criteria, that's for the person that's going to be doing the work, and the committee to kind of evaluate the responses that we get to try to pick who we're going to, you know, use. So instead of just saying like, you know, Jamie and Jeff or myself just make a pick, we're going to have like a little committee to actually discuss it and review the proposals and all that. So be prepared if anybody's interested in working along with that. So at this point, the target list of 100 resources, Jamie's going to start putting that together. And then I think we should probably talk about this by the end of the week again. Not sure if, suppose we just post another meeting. We've got a couple of days. We only have, you know, one item on the agenda. If everybody's got an hour or so, like Thursday or Friday.
Can we do that, Jamie?
Yeah, we just need 48 hours to post the agenda to the city clerk. So if we submit it by tomorrow morning, we could do it anytime Thursday or Friday.
What's better?
Friday's better for me than Thursday.
Friday's fine with me. My social calendar is just like blank.
Fine with me.
Yep.
All right. What time on Friday? Afternoon work?
It has to be after 5 for me. Well, actually, it doesn't. No, I could bump my. No, I take that back. Schedule it when you want.
What time's good for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Normally, I'm 9 to 5 at work, so.
I mean, I don't have a problem in early evenings. It's fine.
Yeah, that was my default. But then I realized too, well, I can always take just take some time out and then make it up later. So I don't need to
I mean,
be
do you
the,
want to do it in the afternoon? Does that work for Nora?
that works okay too.
Tracy?
I have a finer
Sure.
esoteric time and I don't want to, I'm sorry, Tracy, you can talk first. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just
I'm
don't,
good.
well, I don't,
I'm free, so.
okay.
Okay.
I don't want it to be too late, but it can't be too early because I'm on with the kids until 4:30, I would say, 4 or 4:30 on Friday.
Oh, okay.
I'm after that, but before, I don't want it to be after 7 because of my kids.
Yeah, yeah. And so after like 5 o'clock or 5:30. That good? 5:30?
That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works for me. I'll make it work.
5:30.
5:30? Tracy?
That's fine with me.
Okay, Jamie? 5:30, all right?
On a Friday?
Yeah.
On a Friday.
Where are you going, Jamie?
This is dedication.
Yeah. I guess if it works for everyone else, I'll make it work.
Well, you want it to be earlier? Because John said it's some flexibility.
I mean, I'm not Friday. I don't work Fridays. So
I forgot that.
it would be, something to basically wait around all day for. But
If you want, I mean, we can touch base before that. And I mean, if there's only two of us talking about it, we can.
And Thursday would work if it were the same time. If you wanted to do Thursday, that works for me. If it's like 5:30.
You want to do Thursday? I mean, Thursday might be better because then it gives us Friday in case we come up with some ideas that we need to look into a little bit more. Gives us an extra day.
Let's do Thursday, and then Jamie doesn't have to work
Yeah,
on
For me.
Thursday would work. I don't have any meetings in the afternoon, in the evening, so any time that works for everyone on Thursday would be much better than Friday evening.
Okay. So Thursday at 5, 6. Whatever's better for you guys.
Tracy, were you okay with that?
I'm fine with it. I'm free, so. Depends on the time. What time is it good for everyone else?
5:30?
Works for me.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's reconvene on Thursday at 5:30.
I will send out another agenda to everyone with the date and time, and
Okay.
and then I'm also going to send out that spreadsheet and shared folder link.
Yeah, it'd be good to have this stuff to look at, prior to meeting too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
We need anything else? Any other business that we haven't touched on? I'm not going to worry about the canal right now. There's not. I mean, we got some movement on it, but I think we're going to find out more next meeting.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll talk about it at a later date. We have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Stay safe.
Take care. See you all Thursday.
See you then.
Good evening.
See you later.
Bye.